And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood, and I'm so glad you're still with us. And I am thrilled to death to have a gentleman with us from Chattanooga, Steve Freer. Did I do that right?
Close enough.
Close enough. Okay, he's with the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum. And you know I've been talking to you all about the Santa trips, and I've told you about the Santa trips out of Etowah, and then the last couple of times I've mentioned the Santa trips in Chattanooga. So I called down there and I said, by any chance, can anyone come and talk to us about the Santa trip? So that's what Steve's here. Well, he's going to talk to us about the Santa trip, but he's also going to talk to you about some other things that they do down there at the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum. I went online and found out y'all do a lot of things.
Right. I'd love to cover it all, but I don't think we have enough time.
You go, and if we run out of time, my producer over there will start waving frantically. That's Bryce Gibson from Walker Valley High School, folks. And he'll start waving frantically, and then we'll end it and do something else. But kick us off here.
Well, I guess I'll start with the history of Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum, if that's okay.
That's fine.
We were founded in 1961 by a small group of local residents in the Chattanooga and surrounding areas who were concerned about the disappearance of steam locomotives and passenger trains.
Yes.
And because those were all going by the wayside.
Absolutely.
And so they banded together, and now here we are 55 years later, and we have our own railroad in Chattanooga, a 3-mile railroad, which we run most of our trains on, but we have other services as well. Far-reaching. You mentioned about I think you talked to Gerald with the Tennessee Overhill.
I did. Gerald was with us.
Right.
Yes.
And we are partners with them on the train service out of Etowah, or close to Etowah, on the Hiwassee River line. And that's our Hiwassee River Rail Adventure trips. But as you mentioned, we just started this year for the first time a Santa trip.
It sounds like such fun.
Well, they've been very well received and pretty much sold out.
Oh, good.
But we did add a few extra trips in the evenings, so we still have some tickets left for the final trip of the season on Saturday the 17th at 6 o'clock. So there are still some tickets left for that one particular trip.
Okay, because I know that you do have different times that you go.
Right.
But just the 6 o'clock is the only one that still has tickets available.
And only because that was added on.
Oh,
so those tickets are counting down as well.
Ooh,
but so it is limited, but that is the final trip of the final day.
Okay, super. Now, tell them what they get for the trip.
Well, the Santa's Hiwassee Holiday Train is a train ride with Santa, and to be honest, I have not participated in that because I am involved in the operations in Chattanooga primarily, every single trip.
I just found that out, by the way.
But I do know that they do have storytelling and refreshments and visiting with Santa. I'm not sure what the order is, but it is about an hour trip, best I understand.
I think that's right. I think he said 70 minutes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So it's fairly basic, but like I said, it's the first series of Christmas trips that we've offered there out of Etowah, so everybody's excited about it.
I think it's wonderful.
It's been well received. That is in addition to all of our other Christmas trains, like you mentioned.
Right.
And I should also say that we are a nonprofit educational corporation. I don't remember if I said that or not.
You didn't, but that's good to know.
Every single ticket we sell, whether it's for a Santa train or any of our other trips, is a fundraiser to keep this railroad history alive and keep our trains running. So it goes right back into that.
Now, do you all have to maintain that track, or does somebody like CRX or somebody else, do they maintain the track? How does that work?
Any of the track that we operate over or have access to, we have to maintain. And that is a huge undertaking.
I know. That's the reason I asked that. I was thinking maybe some railroad company was being kind enough to do that for you.
That'd be nice, but no, it's our responsibility.
We'll mention that and see if anybody out there would like to raise their hand and volunteer to do that. Okay, so I know the trip out of Etowah, actually it's out of, I think, right there at Savannah Winery. And,
yes, Delano.
Yeah, Delano. I know that one, you say there's 6 o'clock on the 17th is all that's left there. But you all have the trip in Chattanooga.
Right, and that has been our main Santa trains, you might say. That is the North Pole Limited, and in Chattanooga we've offered some sort of a Santa or Christmas train for 18 years now.
Wow.
So it's been a long-running tradition, and we get many families who come back over and over and over, even as I always find it interesting because even as the teenagers get older, they seem to want to come with the family too because it's tradition. And sometimes the teenagers don't want to do things, but for this, they do. So it's nice. I like the family togetherness of it, and it makes a nice tradition.
And riding the train is something, and I told Gerald this, I grew up, and I think I mentioned this to you, my granddad worked for the L&N Railroad in Etowah for 50 years. And so I rode the train, and we rode the train. We'd drive to Etowah from Athens and ride the train to Knoxville to the football games and back home. We rode the train to Cincinnati, Ohio once. We rode the train. I mean, we just rode the train everywhere because we had free passes.
Right.
And that's when they had passenger trains.
Well, and that's what we try to portray to people, is that was a way of life. That's the way people traveled for many years before automobiles were as popular. You rode the train, and that's what we're trying to keep alive, and that's why we do the train rides that we do, especially for school groups. That's the educational part of our mission. But where else would they learn that? They don't get that experience except for coming to the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum.
Not. Now, is your engine, is it a steam engine?
Well, we have 2 operating steam locomotives currently,
great.
which is kind of unusual for us because usually it's only one. But we were partnering with Norfolk Southern for their 21st Century Steam program several years ago, and that's how we ended up with 2 engines in operation.
That is so nice, because there's nothing I like any better than the sound of a steam engine coming down the tracks.
That's what draws people in, I think. But we have several vintage diesels, and actually all of these Christmas trains are diesel powered. Our steam locomotives are put away for the winter, receiving maintenance, and they're winterized and being stored. So all of our Christmas trains currently are diesel powered.
Okay.
But yes, the North Pole Limited, that's, like I said, 18 years running, and it's a very popular thing, and it keeps expanding. We add things to it every year, whether it be lights or some sort of an activity, and it's an hour and 15-minute experience.
That's about 75. Okay, that's about the same as the other one, maybe just a little longer.
It's very close.
Okay.
But now ours is themed a little bit differently because we have a specific story that we use that is all about how the North Pole Limited service started and why we continue to run the train to the North Pole.
Okay.
And I'll let you in on a few secrets of that service. We do this because Santa requested it. He needed help carrying goodies back from the North Pole, and he wanted train service. So that's how it was started,
for Santa.
according to the story. And the secret of how we get to the North Pole, especially in only one day, Magic Tunnel. We go through the Magic Tunnel. That's right.
I love it.
And we leap forward in time, and we cover that 4,000 miles in just a few minutes and get that much closer to the North Pole.
That is so super. I was going to tell you, I read the Cleveland Daily Banner every day, and your ad is just wonderful. Do you need a copy of that? You may not.
No, I've seen it.
Okay,
Yep.
good. It's just wonderful, and so I cut it out, and I kept thinking, okay, I'm gonna call and see. So I did call, and got a nice response, and I've been telling people about you all. So yours goes through the 31st.
Right. Like I said, we've expanded it every year. And this year we have trips after Christmas. I think we had 1 day last year, maybe. This year we have 3 days after Christmas. So, and everybody understands it's after Christmas, but it's still a trip to the North Pole to see Santa. But we have a total of, I think, about 64 trips, 60-something trips from November 18th through December 31st.
Yep.
And multiple trips every day, all day on Saturdays. And I did get the information about how many tickets we have left. We are counting down now, so they are extremely limited. Pretty much the Fridays and Saturdays are sold out and have been sold out for a while. But we start, this week we will start an 8-day run of every day going to the North Pole.
Wow,
and
okay.
So on Sunday the 18th, we still have a few tickets left for the 7:30 trip. And then we run Monday through Friday this next week, the 19th through the 23rd. And we do have trains running at both 5:30 and 7:30 and currently have tickets available for both times. Now that is the traditional ticketing. We do have two different classes of service. That's traditional seating, which is nice in itself, but we do have one, I guess it's an upgraded service, you might say, on Santa's private car.
Oh.
And now these have been sold out for quite some time. It's limited seating. It's a little bit nicer as far as it's a lower capacity car, so it's not quite as crowded. We have hot chocolate and fresh baked cookies, whereas in the traditional, it is a chocolate milk and a packaged cookie just because of the volume of passengers that we have.
I can imagine, yes.
But it's still the same story that we use and the same decorations, obviously, and the same scenery that we pass. Santa's private car, you do get more time with Santa. The families get more time.
Okay, I was going to ask that. Santa is
Right.
actually in Santa's private car.
We pick up Santa at the North Pole, but those people who ride in Santa's private car do get more time with Santa on the return trip, whereas in the traditional, it's a little bit quicker visit. He moves through the cars fairly quickly, and it's more of a, Merry Christmas, take a picture, whereas it can't be a full visit. But now, even though those have been sold out for some time, I'm still going through my charts, my seating charts, and we may open up a few more seats here and there,
Oh, wow.
even on the private car. So, be sure to go ahead and check that. If you're interested in, you might find a hit on one of those dates as we add a few extra seats here and there.
That'd be awesome. And the phone number down there, folks, is 894-8028. That's 423. It's Chattanooga. It's not long distance, but I don't know whether you still have to do 423 or not. Or you can go to www.tvrail.com. We're going to take a little commercial break, but don't you leave, because you've come all the way from Chattanooga to talk to me, and we're going to talk some more. So, folks,
All right.
we'll be right back after these commercial spots.